Hi, a warm welcome to all of you. Welcome back to Still Leaves, the channel for sharing knowledge for comprehensive self-development through great books. Today, I'd like to share a very bold book with you. It's bold in that it points out something directly to you and me. We might very well be the most super ignorant people of this era. An era of information explosion, of technology and artificial intelligence that are constantly evolving. But this is a boldness based on research and statistical data. If you want to surpass yourself, accept your limitations, and be ready to break them to take a simple yet core step of change, thereby upgrading yourself and your life in this new era, then let's explore today's book, Head in the Cloud by William Poundstone. The title of this book literally translates to a brain in the clouds. This implies that our minds are always obscured by foggy clouds that block our clarity and prevent us from progressing without us even knowing. Now, I invite you to listen. Are you a super ignorant person in this era? The author has a point of view. This is an era where people are the most lacking in knowledge and understanding. You might disagree and wonder. This is the golden age of knowledge. People pay more for courses each year than people in the past studied in a lifetime. So why call it the most knowledge-deficient era? It's true that people today have easier access to knowledge, but at the same time, the quantity and depth of knowledge fields are also increasing at a dizzying pace. This is an era of knowledge explosion. No single individual, no matter how diligent and intelligent, can fully absorb everything, even in a narrow field. Furthermore, the certainty of knowledge is gradually disappearing. Knowledge is constantly being updated. What is true today may be false tomorrow. Compared to such a vast and uncertain ocean of knowledge, our learning speed is too slow, and we are less proactive in seeking or updating knowledge. So what is the consequence? People in modern society are gradually becoming clueless and ignorant in many areas. According to statistics from a September 2010 survey, it was found that 41% of American adults could not name the vice president. 20% thought lasers work by focusing sound waves, and 58% did not know who wrote the novel Moby Dick. Among them, 4% believe the author of that book was Stephen King. This demonstrates the widespread lack of knowledge in American society. If a similar survey were conducted in Vietnam, the results might not be much better. The author and his research team conducted a large-scale survey in the U.S. with questions designed to determine if people met the standard of being knowledgeable. For example, here's some of the questions. You can try to see if you know the definite answers. The questions were: where is the cradle of human civilization? What continent does Egypt belong to? Hieroglyphics were the first form of writing used by which people? Why is it daytime for us while it's nighttime in other parts of the world? Why is Pluto called a dwarf planet? What is the significance of the Industrial Revolution? Through what means did Christianity develop and spread to the countries of the Near East? Why is the heart a special organ? What is a signal light from land called? What is the significance of the 4th of July? This question is easy for Americans. For Vietnamese people, we can substitute another question. What is the significance of September 2nd? This is the most basic general knowledge. Some might say all the questions are easy, but the situation is not so optimistic. The few people who answer the most questions correctly still only got 7 out of 10. However, many people immediately object. This knowledge has no practical use, and you can just Google it. What's the big deal about remembering it or not? If you think like this, there's a high chance you are falling for what is called the Google effect, a psychological phenomenon where people rely on online search engines. Knowing that information can be easily found on the internet, we tend not to store it in our minds. It's true that now, with a single click, we can look up what we need. But we need to understand that knowledge is hierarchical. One layer is built upon another. When you lack foundational knowledge, you cannot understand the higher levels. Even if you can look it up, you cannot fully comprehend it. Furthermore, in daily life, you have to make countless decisions, big and small. Every choice requires understanding to evaluate and judge wisely. Without foundational knowledge, even with the internet, you can't recognize your own mistakes. There's a case in the book like this. Many scientists now believe that gluten can lead to diabetes. Therefore, brands emphasize in their advertising that their products are gluten-free. Now, in front of you are two boxes of potato chips. One has the words gluten-free and a higher price, while the other box says nothing. Which box would you choose? Most people chose the gluten-free box because they searched online and found that gluten-free products are good for their health. However, this is a wrong choice due to a lack of understanding. Because gluten does not naturally exist in potatoes, it is only found in wheat and barley. More seriously, one thing we pay little attention to is that there is much knowledge you cannot find on the internet. Because if you lack general foundational knowledge, you don't even know of its existence. So how would you know the keyword to search for? The author calls this emptiness in the brain superignorance. Superignorance means not knowing that you don't know, or in other words, not being aware of your own lack of knowledge. A person who remains in a state of superignorance for too long will get stuck in the Dunning-Kruger effect. This is a behavioral paradox, meaning that the least competent people often misjudge their own abilities the most. There was a study like this. A large number of students were asked to grade their own exams. The results showed that the high-scoring group accurately predicted their results, even modestly grading themselves lower, while the lowest-scoring group gave themselves unusually high scores. Why must you upgrade your general foundational knowledge? In reality, people who lack general knowledge often face more economic difficulties. Researchers selected a large group of people of the same age, 35, all with equivalent university degrees. These individuals answered questions from various fields. The results showed that the group that answered many questions incorrectly had an average income of about $40,000 per year. In contrast, those who answered everything correctly had an income of $95,000 per year, a very large difference, 2.1 times greater, nearly $55,000. When a person lacks sufficient inner knowledge, they are also far from a happy life. Happiness is related to income. This is the result of research by Daniel Kahneman, a Nobel Prize-winning psychologist. He pointed out that Americans are happiest with an income of $75,000 per year. If the income level rises too high, the level of happiness does not decrease and may even slightly decline. But for those with very low incomes, life is certainly full of worries. People with solid general knowledge often have better physical health because they understand common knowledge about health and biology. As a result, they are not easily swayed or confused by the constantly changing waves of health information online. A lack of knowledge not only affects your personal life, but also has a negative impact on others, the community, and the world. The author conducted a survey, and the results showed that those who could not find Ukraine on a map were more likely to support blocking homeless, displaced people. The truth is that a lack of knowledge, especially in geography, history, and social studies, directly affects a person's political views and policy decisions. In 2015, someone posted a behind-the-scenes photo of the director Steven Spielberg from the set of the movie Jurassic Park. In the picture, the director is sitting next to a Triceratops model. The photo was accompanied by a sarcastic caption, "A despicable hunter happily posing next to his freshly hunted prey. Share this photo so the world knows about this villain." Unexpectedly, the post was quickly shared more than 30,000 times and received tens of thousands of angry comments attacking the director. This is the reality of superignorance, because many people did not understand what Triceratops meant, and looking at the image, they did not realize it was a prop. What is the core way to break free from superignorance? The most core way is to start by grasping knowledge clues. Learn in a more complex, more diverse way. It's okay if you only know a little about each thing, because learning in the past was to deal with the known, while learning in this era is to prepare for the unknown. The best way to learn is like a detective solving a case. The more knowledge clues you have in your head, the better. You will be able to follow those clues to continue searching online to solve the problem. The author advises that in each field, we should grasp at least 15 to 20 foundational concepts. For example, in finance, you can learn about inflation and compound interest. In science, things like entropy and gravity. In history, World War II and the Cold War. In psychology, herd mentality, inferiority complex, etc. These concepts are the clues that help you search. The second step to breaking free from super ignorance is don't just search, remember. As mentioned above, the now common Google effect will make you tend to quickly forget information that is easily found online. The most effective method is not to rush to take a photo. Pay close attention first. Even taking notes by hand is more effective. Another equally important way to break free from super ignorance is to develop language skills. Because language is not only a tool for expression, but also a tool for thinking. As Einstein once said, if you can't explain something simply, you don't understand it well enough. The major difference of this book lies in its universal accessibility. The method here is suitable for everyone. Whether you have a weak or strong knowledge base, whether you have a university degree or not, with just a digital device and a search engine or AI, you can update your general knowledge. Hopefully, the content shared today will leave you with an endless source of inspiration for learning. Take advantage of the development of technology and artificial intelligence to master your own mind. Instead of being shackled by digital tools, algorithms, herd mentality, and the desire for wealth. Learn a little more each day, understand a little more. Though small, when accumulated, it will create a compound effect that can completely change you. And these simple steps of yours can also contribute strength to tearing down the global wall of ignorance from its roots. Thank you for listening. If you find this video useful, please share it with those who need it. Don't forget to give me a like, hit the subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell to watch the latest video every week. Thanks again, and see you in the next videos.